Well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, you grew up in Sao Paulo.
I did.
And you're raised mostly by your grandma and your aunt.
I mean, my mom is also, she was there, but there was like turbulent times. So I was like moving around a lot, let's say like that.
Your mom, based on the story that I heard from you, your mom finds like a new boyfriend or whatever, seedy stuff. She ends up being pulled. You get pulled from her?
Yeah, that happened for a second.
I mean, traumatizing, but you're young.
Yeah, I was like 6, 7 when that happened. So I was really little, and like there were so many family issues, and I was so little to understand everything that was going on. So till this day is like I have this weird perspective towards everything that happened. But yeah, that happened. And when I was pulled away from her, I lived with my aunt and my grandmother for a bit. And that's actually where my aunt found out that I could sing. And that's where it all like started.
So your aunt is also a singer herself, right?
She is. She at the time she used to mainly work with musical theater. So she had done a bunch of like courses and studied a lot and all of these different Broadway shows. And yeah.
She's a judge on a singing competition show in Brazil.
Nowadays she is, yes.
So when so she's not a singing judge when you move in with her when you're 6, 7?
No, she is a singer. She does everything. So she can sing in whatever setup, but at the time she was mainly doing musical theater because that's like where her heart is, I guess.
And is this the first time that you're like really subjected to music every day consistently from somebody who's actually creating it in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, at the time, I didn't really know anything about it. Like, I didn't know that I could sing. I didn't know. And she kind of like figured it out because I used to just sing for fun at the house. And then she just heard it and she's like, oh, this could be something, you know? She started teaching me for fun. I used to sing like some Disney songs, and then eventually I was working.
And okay, when does your mom re-enter your life?
Not long after that, actually. It took just, let's say like a year later. And then our relationship kind of had to like grow back to what it was. But she really, really, really took the time after that to really help me out with my career. So she was like, she had to leave her job and kind of like take me to the auditions and to rehearsals all the time. So she really dedicated a lot of her time to my career. And then when it started working, I started to be able to give back, you know. So like we were in a really bad financial situation at the time, and I was able to like get us a house. And
that's cool.
Yeah, that was so cool. I mean, we started building a comfortable place for ourselves and not so much struggling, you know.
Did you know or have any dream of being a singer or performer before you moved in with your aunt and your grandma?
I guess I just was. That's really interesting. But I was always so like, you know, like, look at me. And I would like to dance all the time in the living room. And I would just be watching movies and trying to recreate the scenes. So I had it in me, but I never really took it as oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Like at the time I was like, I'm going to be a doctor, you know, like it's just so random.
But your aunt heard you and was like, I'm going to bring this out in you.
Yeah. My grandpa was listening to like opera in the house, and I was just doing what I heard. Like I was trying to do the same thing. And then she's like, wow, you have like pitch, you know? So she started just teaching me little things, and I'm such a perfectionist. Even when I was a kid, I was already like that. So she was teaching me, and I was like so dedicated, even though at the time I didn't even know that I was going to actually do this for the rest of my life. But I was like, no, I need to be the best singer in the world, you know? So I was just like really working hard to make sure that I was really good. And then she took me to an audition, and I got in. It was the audition for The Lion King when the Broadway version came to Brazil.
That's what your aunt took you? Was that your first audition?
That was my first audition in life. I know.
Huge.
I know. And she was like, I'm just going to take her, because it was so many people running for the role of young Nala. And she's like, I'm just going to take her just so she can have the experience and see if she actually likes it. I don't think anybody expected for it to work out the way it did, you know? And I was just like, I was nervous, obviously, but it was just fun for me, you know? I was just like, oh, this is new, this is exciting. And then, yeah, I remember like a massive line and so many talented theater kids that like grew up into that. And then the audition came. I just got through the first phase, second phase, third phase, and then we just get a call saying like, hey, you're in. Like, you're actually going to do it.
And at what point are you, like at what stage in the process of bringing young Nala to life does your mom re-enter your life?
She was like, she got back to my life like a little bit before the show actually started. Yeah, so she kind of saw a little bit of the audition process, and she was always rooting for me. A little bit apart still, but she was there. She was there.
What do they have you doing for those auditions?
Oh, so many things. I mean, as a kid, they're so much nicer, and I learned that as I grew up. But I was like 8 when I started the auditions, and they give you pieces of choreography, and they give you, sometimes they give you a song, or sometimes you just go in and you sing in front of people. But it is already like a lot of pressure, because you just enter a room and there's a bunch of like men. They're really like angry, just looking at you and waiting for you to sing, and you know that you have to be good. And then after you sing and you dance and you do maybe a scene that they give you, you just wait. You just wait, and sometimes they will tell you like on the spot, like, yeah, you're in, you're out. And then that kind of like messes with you when you're a kid, you know. But they were nice. They were nice at the Lion King. I had like worse experiences in auditions. I had people going like, next, you know, like, those are brutal.
Oh, that must hurt.
Yeah, those are brutal.
Do you think if you didn't end up living with your grandma and your aunt, that like music would have ever come through in the way that it has?
I think music would find me, or I would find music eventually, because I don't know, like now that I'm older and I look back, I see everything. It was always there. Like music was always a part of me. I was always performing around. So like at some point I would have figured it out, but not in the timing, you know, like the timing wouldn't have been so perfect if that didn't happen. So even though it was like a hard time for my family and for me as a kid, it was still so important for the rest of my life. I think it was just meant to be.